How are we, my friends? You are very welcome along to a brand new week here on Anfield Agenda, and this is Monday evening's Transfer News Roundup. Over the course of the next 8 to 10 minutes, we're going to discuss Alexander Isak, Marc Guéhi, Giovanni. We're going to have a little bit on Manchester City and their potential pursuit of Rodrigo from Real Madrid, and a ruling from CAS that is not great news for Crystal Palace and their hopes of European football, or at least major European football next season. So all of that to come over the next few minutes, plus a little bit more as well. We do want to know your thoughts, so let us know in the comment section. Drop a like on the video if you enjoy it. And don't forget to be back here tonight with me at 8:45, where we will go through these and more stories in far more detail. Right, let's get cracking. So, Fabrizio Romano, and I know everybody's getting a little bit weary at this point about the Alexander Isak situation, but it was always going to be a saga, for want of a better word. Romano has said this, though. Liverpool have a feeling that Newcastle are still very active in the striker market because they know that Isak is not changing his mind. He wants to go to Liverpool. Liverpool maintain their confidence in trying to make a deal happen. It remains concrete. It's going to be a week where Liverpool maintain their contacts active on the player side. Newcastle will keep working on the striker. We know that that's what has to happen here. Liverpool have to wait for Newcastle to get a striker in. And look, it does look like they're making some headway in that department. Also, from Fabrizio Romano, he said, Liverpool maintain their confidence in trying to make a deal for Isak happen. For sure, there will be a story to follow in the next week. On top of that, Lee Ryder has said Alexander Isak has been handed an ultimatum. No serious offer, no transfer. What must follow is a heftier bid. There has been talk of £150 million, but others on the agent circuit have suggested that £130 million plus add-ons may yet find a breakthrough. And this is where we seem to have a bit of a standoff, because Liverpool want some encouragement that if they go in with a bid, it's not going to be bluntly rejected like the last one. But also, we won't pay £150 million. So there does have to be some give each side on this one. And we'll talk about that in more detail in a minute, because a bit more clarity is coming on this situation. So I warned you guys at the start of the video that there could be a late development in the Rodrigo situation, as Manchester City now look to make a move for him. So this piece here from Fabrizio Romano said Manchester City are eyeing a move for Real Madrid forward Rodrigo. He won't come cheap, but City see him as a key addition to strengthen their forward line. Fee being asked is about €100 million. So we know that Manchester City are close to selling Savinho to Spurs, or at least in conversation for that to happen. So as soon as I seen that news last night, I thought, they're after something here, Man City. They're lining something up, and it looks like that player could be Rodrigo. Now, why does that matter to us? Well, we know if Liverpool, for whatever reason, can't get Isak, we need to bring in one, if not two forwards. And if Rodrigo goes to City, well, that's one other option off the table. Paul Joyce, speaking with our friends over here in Ireland and Off the Ball. I say friends, more I'm a fan of their work, to be honest with you. They say people talk about player power and Isak will get his way. I still think the fee could be an issue. I still think that the fact Newcastle don't seem close to, and the fact that they need to get two strikers, they're the impediment, said Paul Joyce. One is the fee, the other is Newcastle replacing him. Now look, I think the Newcastle replacing him part is in hand, but the fee, it's going to have to be realistic. I know people are talking about 150, but it isn't going to happen from Liverpool's side, because there's no value at 150. Moving on. Again, Romano said Liverpool have to decide whether they want a Premier League proven player like Marc Guéhi, or if they want a talent like Giovanni Leone. Now, what I don't understand here is, one, why we potentially couldn't do both. Now, I know that sounds a bit greedy, but for me, I'd like the Premier League proven player in Marc Guéhi, because that's what I think we're more in need of right now. Yes, Giovanni Leone, a young up-and-coming top centre-back, would be brilliant, but I still have no faith in a defensive line and questions about Canade's future. So Marc Guéhi, to me, would be the perfect addition. Now, while we're talking about Crystal Palace, this report today from The Times said that Crystal Palace are to play in the Conference League next season, having lost their appeal against their expulsion from the Europa League and inclusion in the Europa Conference League. So that is where they will be playing the European football next season. James Pearce has been speaking about Marc Guéhi, and he said there's a deal to be done between Liverpool and Marc Guéhi for a sensible price. I agree, so get it done. It seems like a very, very obvious deal to me. He's a top quality player. We've seen that firsthand again yesterday. He's available, and more on his availability from Crystal Palace's side in a moment. Romano has said Liverpool are really considering Palmer's Giovanni Leone. All the top Italian clubs tried for him, but he's very expensive for them. Parma want about £35 million. Liverpool really building their interest in the boy. Get him. So look, here's what I would do in Liverpool shoes. I would buy Mark Gay, bring him in for the here and now. I would buy Giovanni Leone and leave him in Italy for another season, whether that's with Parma or somebody else, because yes, he needs some more developing. And if he is a top talent for the longer term, well, it gives us cover not knowing what's going to happen with Canade. And if he's another stellar season and the worst came to the worst and Liverpool didn't want to bring him back into the fold, you could sell him and I'm sure make a tidy little profit. So for me, you know, if you really want that young up-and-coming top-quality centre-back, well, buy him for the future because probably not ready for the here and now. Liverpool, from Chris Bascom, has said Liverpool certainly need at least one more attacker in this window, but preferably two. And I kind of understand where Chris is coming from there because we've spoken about the sheer numbers that we have up top and we are going to lose 4 and we have replaced with 1 and a youngster who we've seen yesterday Arna didn't feel was ready to come on and make a difference in that game. We do as fans, but if we're to believe that young Rio Ngamoa is going to be a proper first team player, then moments like yesterday need to stop where we need something changed in the last few minutes, but the manager doesn't seem willing to bring him on and give him a shout. So, Ben Jacobs has said, Liverpool's position on Alexander Isak remains the same. There have been no further bids, approach or significant interaction following a rejected offer of £110 million. Liverpool respect Newcastle's position and the emphatic nature of the rejection means Liverpool are still waiting for encouragement. Liverpool view the situation as similar to Anthony Gordon last summer. Newcastle first indicated they would be open to a deal due to their PSR issues, only to sell Elliot Anderson and Yakuba Minta instead. When Liverpool approached later in the window, Newcastle were no longer willing sellers. Understand Newcastle have indicated a willingness to engage on Isak, so Liverpool made their bid. It was a bid with optimism, which is why the strong and quick rejection was a surprise to Liverpool. Now that has been rebuffed, Liverpool will not engage without encouragement. They haven't walked away, the saga is not yet over, but Liverpool only want to bid again if Newcastle make it clear they are not wasting their time. Should a new bid arrive, both clubs must be on the same page and then an exit is likely. So basically, engage Newcastle. If you don't like Liverpool's number, engage with Liverpool to try and get a higher rather than the rebuttal after encouragement like it happened with Anthony Gordon. So we don't want to see that again. Next up, Alexander Isak will only consider reintegrating at Newcastle or signing a new deal if Liverpool directly inform him a deal is impossible this summer. Isak is waiting to see if Liverpool bid again. The Premier League champions haven't walked away as it stands, but no plans to place a second offer unless given clear encouragement from Newcastle, which is kind of at odds with a couple of reports late last night to say that a bid was due within 72 hours. Now, for what it's worth, I'd also heard tales of a bid coming within the next 72 hours, and I mentioned this the day before, so let's wait and see what happens on it. But either way, whether we stay in the Isak situation or we move to a different one, we do need to get cracking with it soon enough because clocks are ticking. We've seen that we have deficiencies in the squad. Let's make sure that we don't end the window with frustration. So, according to Caught Offside, Liverpool continue to closely track Rodrigo's situation and view the winger as a prime alternative target should the pursuit of Alexander Isak fail. Chris Bascom has said I'm Isak on the brain. My apologies. Ekatike's promising debut suggests that not all roads must lead directly to St James's Park when it comes to Liverpool finding goal-scoring solutions when beginning their title defence. Now look, no problem with us being happy having brought in Ugo Ekatike, but let's not start rewriting history here. We absolutely do need to bring in another forward, and whether all roads lead to St James's Park or not, they best lead somewhere. This here on Kostas Tsimikas said Kostas was not included in the squad yesterday with good reason. The fullback is edging closer to Liverpool exit this summer. The Reds signed Milos Kerkez in June with Robbo already ahead of Kostas. An exit is going to be allowed. This from Chris Bascom as well said Ekatike's promising debut suggests not all roads lead directly to St James's Park, as I mentioned a moment ago, which I kind of disagree with. We need to get cracking. The manager's number one target here is Isak. We need to go and get Isak, and every day that goes by is just another day closer to potential frustration. And as Chris Bascom has rightly said, two forwards wouldn't be out of the question either. So either way, would like to see some movement in the forward department soon. A little bit more on Isak, but I don't want to bore you all with it. It's just journalists with different views of it. So I'm going to move on to the match officials for Liverpool's first game week coming up against Bournemouth. Referee is going to be Anthony Taylor. Assistants are Gary Bessick and Craig Taylor. Fourth official, Fari Hallam, and VAR Michael Oliver. Assistant VAR Thomas Bramall. So, last word on today's video, because I've so much I could have gone through on top of this, but I will go through it all with you guys tonight. Crystal Palace chairman Steve Parish on the Mark Gay situation. This is what he's had to say. Of course, for players of that calibre to leave on a free, it's a problem. It needs a new contract or a conclusion of some kind, and he won't sign a new deal. So, you know, it's going to be an exit in the next 20 days, and hopefully that is to Liverpool. So look, folks, that's where I am for now. I will see you guys tonight at 8:45, where I can give you even more information. I was able to go here. We've already gone past 10, nearly 11 minutes, and I still have probably another 40% worth of stuff to go through. So I will see you tonight at 8:45, where we will go through it all. Thank you for your support again over the weekend. Really do appreciate it. Looking forward to reading your thoughts in the comment section, and hopefully you'll be back here with me at 8:45. We'll talk then. Have a good one. Bye-bye.